Well, US President Donald Trump has outlined a 20-point peace plan that would see him act as chair of a governing authority over Gaza. In a joint press conference with Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump said the proposal had been agreed by everyone except Hamas. And if Hamas refuses to come to the table, the US would back Israel to do whatever they needed to do.
If Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
The plan means an immediate end to the war and the return of Israeli hostages within 72 hours. Here's some of what Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way, but it will be done. We prefer the easy way, but it has to be done. All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrifice the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres.
Joining me now is former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. Sean, welcome to the program. Can you just run us through the key parts of Donald Trump's peace plan?
Well, look, I think the key thing that you stated there is the U.S. involvement, that the U.S. is going to play a pivotal role in overseeing this thing. That, to me, is the biggest and only part that matters, because it shows the U.S. leadership will be a continued part of this. And by getting Israel on board, there was some question, at least among the chattering class in the U.S., whether Prime Minister Netanyahu would agree to these terms. But it shows more than anything Donald Trump's leadership in this area, his commitment to the area, and it really puts Hamas in the corner. If they don't agree to this, as Donald Trump said, they have really isolated themselves, number one. And number two, clearly the green light has been given to Israel to move forward under whatever means they think is appropriate to settle this dispute.
Well, as you say, it does put Hamas in a bit of a corner because this plan has been agreed to by Arab states. So if Hamas reject the plan, they do really isolate themselves pretty much from everybody.
They do. And that's the beauty of this, is that it's one thing to go it alone or to have Israel on board. But he really did. I got to say, you got to give President Trump a lot of credit for how he's handling these foreign wars, really focusing on peace. This one was the big one. I know a lot of people focus on Russia and Ukraine, but if they can achieve peace in this area, this is something that has gone on for decades. And I think that President Trump has really shown that sometimes thinking outside the box and not recycling the same old policy prescriptions is kind of warranted. And I give him a lot of credit. To your point, he's gotten all the parties at the table. He's gotten them all on board. I do feel like it would be insane if Hamas were to say no to this.
And in typical Trump style, he said that this could bring peace for eternity, which I think is probably a little overly optimistic. But anyway, the plan would have Gaza
you rarely ever hear him use. You rarely hear him use hyperbole or exaggerate. So, maybe just this once.
He's not prone to exaggeration at all. The plan, as you said, would involve the United States. As I understand it, Gaza would be administrated by a committee of Palestinians, but overseen by a board of peace whose members would include Donald Trump and Tony Blair. Do we know any more about how that would actually work in practice?
I think a lot of the details are slowly going to come out over the next few days. I think at least my understanding is that the goal is to get agreement in principle and then kind of continue to flesh out the details with the parties. But so far, I think that it's very reasonable. As you said, you've got the right people on board so far, and I don't think that anybody's done anything that would push someone away, in this case, Hamas. So I feel like this is smart. It's reasonable. It's outside the box. It's something that hasn't been thought of before. So there's really again, as I said, I get that, for your viewers, I'm a Trump supporter, but it's this kind of outside the box thinking on so many different things where Trump shows that he's not just the same old politician that's retrying to do the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome.
That's a very good point. Well, while Donald Trump is busy sorting out problems in the Middle East, it's not as if he doesn't have plenty of problems at home, Sean. A government shutdown is on the cards. Can you explain to Australian viewers what a shutdown is and what it means for people in the US?
Well, here's the deal. It's a mess. It means that we stop operating minus essential services. Essential services are Social Security checks, air traffic control, active duty troops, things that are essential to us functioning as a government. But, like a national park wouldn't be essential. The ticket, like folks at a museum or a federal thing, those wouldn't be. Low-level staffers at a department or agency wouldn't be. So it's basically only the people that are essential for our national security or to keep the government running. And by the way, those people don't get paid. Historically, they always get paid back, James, but while they're working, they don't get paid. So we have 12 appropriations bills that fund our government. So you have military, veterans, transportation, legislative branch. There's one that does the courts. None of them, none of the 12 have passed Congress. So this will be a full government shutdown. Now, just so your viewers understand this, what the Republican House passed, and it's over in the Senate, is what we call a clean continuing resolution. You'll hear the word or the phrase CR. That's continuing resolution. That means that for the next 7 weeks, it'll fund the government as is. No changes to policy, to funding. Whatever's locked in counts. And what the Democrats, despite them voting 13 times in the past for a straight up continuing resolution, are now demanding over $1 trillion in new spending. So, by the way, in March, when we had a similar issue, Chuck Schumer voted for exactly what's on the table now, a continuing resolution. So this is going to put Democrats in a box. It'll shut the government down. I have a feeling that we'll find some kind of, and by the way, all that's trying to happen is to buy more time for those 12 bills to pass to fund the government. So that's what we're dealing with now is a bill to just fund the government for 7 weeks so that the two houses of our Congress can hopefully come to agreement on those areas to fund the respective parts of our government.
All right, well, that mess is happening in Washington. Let's go to New York, where the man favoured to be the next mayor is proposing to spend $100 million not to fill potholes or to make sure garbage is collected, but to defend illegal migrants.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this is insane. I got to be honest with you. This race is over in my mind. Zohran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York. I believe the people of New York need to live with these consequences. They want somebody who wants everything to be free, grocery stores to be taken over and run by the government. He is a socialist. And the people of New York had an opportunity to decide who they wanted to govern them. They had several choices. This is who they've chosen twice now, in the Democratic primary, and then they'll choose it again in the general election. And there's really no way that he isn't going to win at this point, to be straight with you. So I put this on the people of New York. America is the land of everybody gets to have their voice heard, their vote heard. And the people of New York have chosen to go in this crazy, crazy leftist way. And these are some of the policies that we can expect over the next few years.
Absolutely shocking. Just before I let you go, Sean, late-night TV host Jimmy Kimmel is back on TV after being suspended over remarks he made in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. But while Kimmel has returned, his viewers have not. Ratings from his show last week show a staggering 64% drop in viewers. What do we read into that?
Well, there's two things, James. Just to be clear, on the viewership, a lot of people, not me, I go to bed way too early, but I think a lot of people stayed up the night he returned to find out what he was going to say. There was a lot of interest, I think, to find out if he actually apologized. But I would say this on the second piece of this. Remember, he went silent. He lied to the American people. He lied about this assassin, claiming that he was part of the MAGA movement, which is unequivocally a falsehood. And instead of apologizing for it on any of the days in which he was off air, he chose to stay silent. He gets back on air and then still doesn't apologize. ABC said that his joke was ill-timed. It wasn't ill-timed. It was a lie. It was wrong. And it doesn't matter when it was given, what time it was given. But this just shows you that the people, most of the elite Hollywood types in America are more concerned with whether Jimmy Kimmel will be on air than whether or not Charlie Kirk was assassinated. It's a sad state for the left in this country.